Hey guys! So today I'm gonna go over the way I deal with DimmerFX live from my startup show file. I will be building the whole thing from scratch as I have it in my startup show file. So now you can watch every single step of what it takes to set it up. So let's jump right into it. If you guys have any questions, just ask them right away, and I will answer them as soon as I see them. Alright, so we're gonna start with creating some views. What do we need? Macros. Alright, we're gonna use those 9. You can use as many effect pool items as you want. The more you use, the longer it takes to set it up. In my show file, I think I have 10 options. I never used all of them, but yeah, it's better to have it sitting around in case if you need it, you can just take it right away. Right, so next step, we're gonna label them. Label effect 1 through 9. Let's call it. Alright, so now I'm gonna set up a macro to set my variables. I use a macro, or I have a macro in case if my variables don't transfer from one show file to another. I can just hit a macro and everything is set again. So that's just an extra safety in case you need it. So if you're familiar with variables, there's not really a lot to it. I really like using variables because you can have a little bit of dynamic into your show file or whatever you need or use your variable. We're gonna call it DimmerFX equals 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9. That should do the trick. Let's run it and see. Yes. In my startup show file, I have a few variables I have to set. So I have I think 10 lines in my macros to set everything up. So now we're gonna go to view 2 or screen 2. We're gonna create a sequence pool. We're gonna make it a direct action sequence pool. We're gonna store the view, call it live, and then we just create some sequences for the direction. So now it's just writing a lot of commands into empty sequences. Joel, why not using through? I tried using it. Sometimes it just gave me an error. I don't know what's wrong with that. Yeah, I prefer to use plus because I always did. Takes a bit longer to set up, but yeah, wasn't that long now. Let's set the first command, assign effect. Now we're gonna use the variable DimmerFX direction equals boom. We're gonna copy the command with Control V. It's just an easy way to instead of writing every macro again. So now we're gonna go in here, copy everything, change the direction over here, bounce. Not sure if that is the correct one. I do hope so, but we will see in a bit. Now I'm gonna also write in the Q line, in the command line, an off command. Off sequence 96 through 99 minus 96. So now I only got the sequence on, which is active in my effect. And 99. So let's check if everything works. No, it doesn't. Alright. Object doesn't exist. Alright. Let's try to use the through command. Maybe that works. We'll see. DimmerFX 1. Nope, doesn't work. Plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. Oh yeah, and the brackets, yeah, of course. 1 through 9. Let's see if it works this time. Yeah, thanks, Joel. Alright, now it should work the way I want it to. It still doesn't work. Sign effect 1 through 9. Let me check. What have I done wrong? Oh. Yeah, I've used the wrong, whatever that sign is called. You need that one. And now it should work. Yes. Also, let's see inside of the effects. Yes, you can see down here. It also changed. And if we change it to that direction, yes, it's direction forward. So the next thing we're gonna do is we have a reset one, just to reset it back to the default of my effect, or the way I want it to reset back. Some use just from left to right. You can also like have wings of 2. Let's just go the lazy way. Oh, there you go. So now if we copy that, we're gonna set it to blocks equals 0. Then we do the next. Groups equals 0. And then we're gonna do the next, which will be wings. I always set it back to wings of 2. That's just, I don't know. I like to have everything symmetrical. Then it looks always good on the stage. So the next thing we're gonna do is the width on 100. Next thing is attack on 0, and you guessed it right, we're gonna use decay as well on 0. So now if I run it, oh yeah, I forgot something. Nope, that was wrong. Come on. Blocks. Needs an S. So now, no error warnings. I also put a release mode on it, so it's just never active. I color it red. Just looks a bit better. And now we can just set all the different kinds of things you want to change. Blocks equals, I'm gonna use a bracket, so I will get a pop-up, so I can just put in a number, and that number will be assigned to the blocks. Whatever I put in the bracket will be shown in the pop-up, as you can see here. So now I put in blocks of 2. If you go inside of the effect, you can see blocks of 2. Also, wings is now on 2 because we resetted it on 2. I also put a release on it, so it will always be off. Then we're gonna do the next for the groups. Mode release. We're gonna test it out. Groups 1, which yes, it's 1. I'm gonna use that on screen 2. Now wings. So now it's just a lot of copy paste stuff. Put it on 1. Mode release. Now we can check groups are on 1, blocks are on 2, wings are on 1, so everything that we just used is now the way we changed it, and it will follow on all effects. And then if we click reset, the effect is back to the default I choose to be the default. Marco, because in my sequence view that you see here now, I also over here I have my positions and some other things stored in here. And yeah, I don't want to use a markup pool. It's just so I have everything put together with position sequences and also with the empty sequences with the command. It's just an easier way for me to deal with it. You can also use it in macros. You don't have to. I just prefer this way. There's no difference between using it in a macro or using it like this. You can also use it in an executor like Christian Jackson does it with a few options and a go-to in the executor, so you can go to blocks of 2, blocks of 4, blocks of 6, whatever, and then you have a queue where you can choose and just put in a number. I don't like this way, so I do it this way. It works for me and I'm pretty happy with it, but you can do it differently. Whatever suits you or whatever floats your boat. Alright, so now we can do some extras as well, such as width equals if you guys have other methods of doing your DimmerFX, I would like to hear it. Maybe I can change something in my show file to work a bit quicker, faster. That's just the way I work. I'm happy so far with it. Maybe someday I will change it up to a different method. But yeah, as soon as I figure out something that works faster. And now you can choose all the options that you have in your effect, such as your rate. The rate will be on 1. Then your low value and your high value. You can also use your attack and decay, which is here. Doesn't work on a sin, but it does on a pulse width. So it just gives it a little bit of a fade, as you can see here. So sometimes I'm when I have a chaser effect running, and I just wanted to have a little bit of a fade, I'll just put in attack and decay on 100, and then it will just fade it a little bit better instead of just snapping. Alright, so now the next thing is we're gonna choose a group or some fixtures. I'm using the show file that I upload it to Dropbox. If you want to have that show file, you can click on my previous video with my timecode tutorial. There I got the link for the show file to download. Alright, so now we have our group selected in a symmetrical order, which means you just mirror the left from the right side, and you can check it through if it goes in a symmetrical order, and it does. So now we're gonna store it in my effect. Now what we're gonna do, we take the group, we put it on full, we store it in our executor, and then we activate the effect. I use 5 different effect forms. You can use more. I just use a sine wave, a ramp up, a pulse width, a chaser, and I created my own form, which is just a flickering effect. Looks pretty nice. So now, since I'm using 5 different forms, I'm gonna say store Q2 through 6. I click over here. So now my effect is running. Yes, that's gonna be a flash top master. So whenever my effect is running, yeah, it's currently running now in all those 6 queues, 2 through 6 and 5 queues. So now let's just label it full sine ramp up pulse width chase flicker. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna assign a form to it. Form, let me check. I think with forms it's different. Instead of saying assign effect form blah blah blah, it's assign form. It is, if I'm correct, for the sign it's form 8. Form 8 at effect. We're gonna use variable again, DimmerFX. Assign effect. We can copy that. Assign effect DimmerFX with equals 100. Just to reset it back to its normal form. No, we're not using the DimmerFX here. The variable. We're gonna use effect 1 because we're only wanting to affect this specific effect. So now we're gonna copy that. I'm gonna paste it in here. My ramp up is 10. The width for ramp is also 100. Now the next one is form 4, and the width is on 50. And the next one is form 5, and I think, yeah, there's no width at all on chaser, so that's the only command, and that's for my special. I think I have it sitting on form 32. It also needs a width of 100. So now, as we can see in my effect now, it's a pulse width. If I choose the sign, it is now a sign. So this way I only need one effect, and I just change the form of that effect. So now we're on chaser, and it's only affecting the effect with that specific group. So group 2 is still a sign, and all the other ones as well. So as you go through your next group over here, for example, you will use, of course, effect number 2. So this way it will only change the form of the effect you will be needing. Hey Phil, do you use the same feature selection in each effect? I'm trying to make all the feature selections the way, so when I from all my different feature types, when I have all effects on, let's say pulse width, they should all look the same. So they should all go, if everything is on default, from left to right. Yeah, this way I can like create a whole sweep from left to right with all fixtures and all fixture types, and it will have a good look on it. I think I can also say, when depending on which stage I am having, sometimes I rather do like some snake selections. Just depends. Whatever you have, and whatever makes sense. Sometimes I have like a whole stage full with pointies, and then I have a crowd rig also full with pointies, and I separate my stage from my crowd rig, which I just copy line 1 at line 2, and in line 1 I have my stage, and in line 2 I have my crowd rig, and this way the whole effect isn't going over everything. It's only going over the stage and only going over the crowd rig. So this way I think it looks better, or it's better to deal with like a stage and a crowd rig or whatever else you have. Sometimes I use like 5 different lines because I have I don't know, a crowd rig, different parts on the stage I wanted that I want to be in a different kind of effect, or apart from each other. That's what I was looking for to say. So yeah, that's just the way I do it. My options in my chaser, in my executor, are basically like this. I use a speed fader, which I will assign over here. Come on. I take a speed fader number 1. It's called dim. So this one will react to the dimmer now. Let's maybe have a look at it. So now it's on 184 BPM. If I put it down, my effect goes slower and according. It's important to have a rate of 1. So this way your effect will be, if you tap the beat, it will go, of course, with the beat. If you put a rate of 0.5, it will do half time. So it takes twice as much time to go over the effect. So if your rate is on 1 and it takes 1 second to go over the whole rig, it will take 2 seconds with a rate of 2, with a rate of 0.5. And this way you can multiply and divide your effect speed. I just use that to, if I have a group of 3, for example, or let's choose groups of 4. If I want to divide it by 4, I need a rate of 0.25. And now if my effect is running, let's make it a chaser. Now it will go on beat. It looks a little bit strange due to the selection, but yeah, that's basically the magic about rate. It's pretty handy if you know what it does. So yeah, that's basically already about it. What I added to my show file a while ago is a macro or a command line with multiple queues. Let's just do that. Store queue 1 through 9. So now I can say set var DimmerFX equals 1. Copy 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. Store another queue, or let's label that group 1. In my all, I just reset it back to all of them. Nope. Through 9. And now I can say, make it a go-to. So now I use only effect 5. I put in blocks of 10, groups of 10, wings of 10, which now here you can see everything is on 10 now, and if you look in a different effect, it isn't affected by that. So that's just a way to make it a little bit more flexible and dynamic. I'll be using it. I haven't used it that many times, but yeah, sometimes you just want your sun strips to have a group of 10, so they just swipe from left to right within the fixture. And yeah, that's how I just separate my my sun strips, for example. Or yeah, sometimes it doesn't make sense to put that specific group on a grouping of 6, let's say. So this way I can just set it for that specific group. And yeah, but for later, I want to think about a solution where I can choose which groups will be affected, so I can take in a group or I can take it out. So this way I can say, all right, just take out group 5 and everything else will be affected, and then let's say only take in group 5 and then only group 5. So that's what I'm gonna maybe build in the next few days because I'm still having an MA3 at home. Still, thank you to Rene for borrowing me the MA3. It's pretty generous, and I have a lot of fun with it. I have to be honest, when I started with MA3, or the first time I had an MA3, of course in Mode 2 on a show, it really made me mad and frustrated me because, yeah, you have to figure out where all the buttons went from MA2. But now, since I spend a lot of time on it in in Mode 2, it is really it's fun, and I think I can work a little bit faster than with an MA2. So yeah, I hope I can still keep it for a bit longer and update my whole show file. Alright, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna end the stream because that's basically that's all of it. That's how my DimmerFX works. What you can do is you can have macros where you say clear all group 10. That's not right. Group 10 store effect 1.1.1. God damn. Store effect. At full. Store exec 1.1 Q1. Override. Add effect 1. Store exec 1.1 Q2 through 6. Override. In my startup show file, I also put in my macro all the commands that I want to have inside of my queue list. So if something goes wrong or I delete something, I just hit that macro and everything will be back to normal. And that's basically it. So now of course I need to have something in group 10. Store group 10. So now it's back in my effect. My queue list should work, and it does. So yeah, that's all the magic with my dimmer effects. It's actually pretty easy and handy way. So that's it. So if you guys got any question, just ask them now. We can go over anything else because the stream just went on. I don't know. It's been 40 minutes already. Damn, time flies. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait 6 seconds for the comments or questions to come in. Otherwise, I'm gonna end the stream. And probably tomorrow I'm gonna go over setting up my movement effects. There's a bit more to movement effects because if you, for example, wanna put a wings of 2 on your circle effect, you need to put your pun on -2 and your tilt on 2. So I have a macro that separates both of them, and if I just put in 2, it will have -2 on pun and a 2 on the tilt. So yeah, I will show you guys tomorrow how that works out. It's not really hard. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow probably for movement effects. If you have any ideas, or if you want me to explain something, you can send me a message. I will think about it or set it up for tomorrow or for the next few days, and then we can learn some things in that shit time we're living in at the moment. Alright, see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.